I've no idea what I'm doing. I keep finding bits and pieces and changing plans. I keep changing my mind. So, this is why people probably ditch me off my channel, because I must be confusing to watch. Okay, I'm going to sit down because I need to think about this and tell you. Where's my tripod? Oh, welcome to this video on. I can't find my tripod. This video on the ZK Fairlane. I'll give you a sneak peek. Oh, look at that! I got some springs too. And okay, and the wagon, and a little bit on the Sedan too, the rust repair sections for the Sedan. What have I done? I've started planning doing the rust cuts, or the rust repairs on the Sedan. I can't put my tripods, I'm going to have to stand. Oh, there it is. And changed my mind about the wagon. And Mark Bear, if you see this, I'm terribly sorry. I've decided to give Jason Hill the 6-cylinder engine. Oh no, I normally sit there. Hang on. And in doing that, I can't do this. In doing that, it means I can give him the engine and transmission, but it means it's not going to go in the XA now. So hang on, just give me a sec. I've got to get in front of it. Hang on, whoa. Not too much crap. Can you see me? Can you see me? Yes, I think you can. Right, so what's happened is I keep changing my mind. Where do I start? So the plan was to stick the 250-inch engine and auto trans in the XA wagon and just get it drivable. There's some brake fluid in it, but it's like syrup, and I dare say it's all seized up. I don't care, because the dilemma is this: I've got so much to do, and I love it that way, but I don't want to do things twice. So what I thought I'd do, I never intended to keep the wagon with the cross-flow alloy head 2. It's the best of those engines, it's a good one. But Jason, and thanks also to the guy that offered me an XC shell, and I think you then offered it to Jason, is that correct? He's going to use that for an upcoming project, and I think the project came with an engine. I don't want to give too much away about it, but anyway, the engine looks pretty well munted. So I said to him, would you like this? And that's why I feel guilty about Mark, because Mark's been very supportive of me, and I was going to, sell it, but I decided to give it to Jason because he's done all my trimming and he won't charge me. And and somebody asked about the Christine car, the Plymouth. He's going to do that too. And so if I can give him anything that I've got, I certainly will. So that's what's happened about that. So another gentleman, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name, came here in a FG Turbo, a mint condition FG Turbo XR6, I think it was, or a G6E. No, I think it was a G6E. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know my later models, but this thing was a mint low mileage thing, a really lovely fella. And he said, I've got this 302, do you want it? And I said, look, I don't need any more engines because I've got all the ones that I have earmarked for projects, and that was it. Well, famous last words. I decided that I was going to, because it's been bored 30, and I thought that's all right, I'll just put it together, re-ring it, and stick it in the XA. Because my brother, that 351 there, he's going to use a dart block. And now he's going to use that Cleveland there with the 20 over pistons. Oh, God. For the XA Sedan. So, this is how it works. The 20 over pistons are going because he wants to stroke it. Yeah? And that's fine. And he wants to build it too, and he can build it, he can do what he wants. I took the other Cleveland block that I was given that I wasn't going to accept, or at least I wasn't going to take, to the machine shop this morning, and it actually does need to be bored. It should clean up at 40. 40 is about the max for a clear. I think you can go to 60 on them, and it's sitting on 30 at the moment, but it's a rough 30. So what that means is that he won't bore it as such. He'll just use a rough hone than a finish hone to bring it out to 40, because it'll be over 30. It'll be 30 something now because it's got wear in it. And he's got a set of 40 over pistons, cast ones, that he can give me, and I can swap for my 20s for that, because that'll go to 30, which I didn't want to do with that, but John's really keen on it and he wants to hot it up and all this, and that's fine. You know, it's all good. So that means I've got a surplus crank, 351 crank, 7 rods, and some 40 pistons, and a block. So I might as well turn it into because the 351. Now, the reason I wasn't going to, if the bores are good, yet they've got wear on them, it doesn't matter, you can re-ring it, but it'd have to be a 302 because it's a 3-inch stroke. If it's getting re-bored or refinished, why not stroke it? Because a 351 doesn't use any more fuel. My XW, this one, that's the XC, that one, uses a lot less fuel than the XD, which has a smaller engine. It's got a 302, that's a 351. And that's actually really economical. It's really good. But, you know, now, with this video, now, if you haven't turned off by now, I understand. So this video, we're looking a little bit on the Fairlane. We're looking at the rust cuts for the Sedan. Grant's welder, I've got the parts to fix it. Grant, we can donate a welder, and I'll show what I'm doing with that when I finish it off. And so one of the welders will go up to the other place, one will stay here, so I can work on both. But I need a welder up there in the meantime. I might take mine, because I've got to start bracing that Sedan and cutting out rust and working out how to fix it. Yeah, I've already got my head around half of it, which is good. So I've got little bits and pieces, so I'm going to stick them all in this, and hopefully you enjoy. So, oh, one more thing. Those rims, I went to change over the rims from the wagon. Well, the rims are good, but the tyres were stuffed. And I had a 14-inch rim on a Holden wheel for the EJ, and I thought, it's got a tube in it. I looked at the valves and I thought, it's got a tube in it. That's all right, I'll stick that on an XA rim, and I've got another roller. And of course, took the tube out and had crusty rust all over where the other rim was, where it was in the middle. And of course, it leaked. So I've got to get a couple of rollers, but those 2 rims, I'll get John to hydroblast them, and I want to do that before he sells his business. And I'll paint him in Kelly green, because that wagon's going to have the green wheels with the Falcon 500 hubcaps, because I haven't got a car like that. And a 351. I wanted a 302 in that. You can't get column manual 351s, can you? I think column auto, 4-speed manual, or Tivo auto. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'll figure it out. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, look, I've been banging on too much. I think on that note, I'll say, hope you enjoy. Right, so now we're going to stoop down to really crummy repairs. This is the grille off the station wagon. It's kind of busted up in a few places. Like in there, it's pretty bad. All over the place, really. It's not a particularly good one, but I got this for $23.40. And it's probably absolute rubbish, I've no idea, but at 23 bucks, I thought I'd take a punt. I should do a big plive and pull it apart. It's supposed to have, it's one of these things with a bit of lead. And in the instructions, interestingly, they talk about it should be an earthed outlet that you use this with, but it's got no earth pin. So straight off the bat, we're into something pretty good. It does actually feel like it might be full of resin or something. It's quite a heavy thing. But I just used coils of wire and heated up what did I heat up? Bits of wire, and sort of melted them into the XC's grill, and it worked really well, to be quite frank. But this is 400 pieces with different coloured tips, and all different types of tips, I should say. A pair of side cutters, and a knife, utility knife. One little case for $23.40. So I'm a bit worried about the safety of it and the circuitry of it. I don't think this is done to Australian standards, but I should really just take that cover off and have a bit of a look. Let me just have a bit of a look at this, because it says here it's a 240 volt thing, and I just want to make sure I'm not going to get zapped as soon as I put my hand on it. I think it should be earthed. I really do. I think it's irresponsible to sell something like this where you're touching that, or touching the wires that go into them, if it's not earthed. So I just want to see what it looks like inside. So if it looks like it's really bad, it will go back in the post, straight back to the person that sold it to me, or the company that sold it to me. You don't get much for $23.40 these days. I don't even think it buys a pack of smokes. But I haven't bought one for a long time. Now let's have a look in here. Oh, that's actually cool. It uses a transformer. Fancy that. It uses a proper copper wound transformer. Look. That's actually really cool. Who would have thought? And it's a switched AC into the transformer, so it's not permanently going. That's all switched. Alright. That's enough for me. At $23 with a copper wound transformer, that's actually really good. I was expecting to have some sort of capacitive dropper, or resistor block or something like that, but so that's what we've got in terms of tips. We can have a wavy one, which is good for sort of straight stretches, a semi-wavy one, there's a V-shaped one that's probably good for the bits inside or in between them, and the M-shaped one as well, the W-shaped one, which is probably just as useful. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set this up and we'll give it a road test. That one's loose, that's busted. I wonder if I can put one of these. You just got to watch, because it goes through the plastic if you're not careful. What about stick my arm around you? Huh? Where was it? Which one is it? Oh, it's this one over here, isn't it? I'll turn that on. You've got to be careful, because it wants to go into the plastic, like melt into it. But what it does, it friggin' works. So I probably didn't go deep enough. I don't know the tool, and I could have got that a bit more level. Someone's actually put steel bits in here. But I mean, the grill is pretty much junk. So some of this plastic's too thin. So here, you wouldn't try that. The thick stuff you can. Once they're cut off, rub back a bit of that plastic filler, bumper filler in there, you'll never see them. I'm actually quite amazed at how strong it is. And when you think about it, the plastic just wraps itself around the metal bit. There's ones in there that are mucked up. But this grill was never going to be a masterpiece. And some of it has actually well disguised bit of steel for the bits of slab that are missing. But I still reckon that'll polish up beautifully, that stainless. Once we clean it, paint it, sand it back, paint it, do the repairs and all that sort of stuff, it's going to look really good. I mean, I can't fault that. I think it's going to be fine. The ones you tend to use the most are those ones, the squiggly ones, and oddly enough, the straight ones. The others I wasn't even tempted to use. They're the straight ones. Come on, how'd you get those? They're the two you use. For a grill anyway. And that is unpicking this for the XA sedan. This is the left-hand side. The XA is a real mess in this area. It's actually probably messed up a little bit further forward of that. So I'm going to take this piece off here. Whoop, that bit there. This is the top of the plenum. There's the base of the plenum there. So I'm going to take all this off so I can do it in layers. That needs a repair. You've have to put a very small patch in there. I don't think it's going to, what do you call it? Mess with the strength of it. I think it's going to be fine. It's only a very small scar. But I need to dig all this out. It's a crappy job, but it's going to be worth it. All right, so we've taken that off. We've taken this off. Good morning. Beautiful. Look at this. We can fix it. Not worried at all. So, I'm just going to clean this up. We have to put a bit of metal in. Take that off. There's some sealer from the plenum, from the upper plenum. This is the lower plenum here. Where does it go to? I don't know. Haven't figured that out. Comes right up. But the lower plenum, I thought... Oh, the dash is separate, yeah. All right then. So, I'm going to keep this bit of dash too, because one of them... I know the wagon has a big hole there. The sedan's the one with the priority though. So we take all this off and reassess. I like cuts. You can see in the plenum here, the upper plenum's nice and clean. Underneath here isn't, but we're going to take all that off and we'll put a patch in. I don't think it's worth doing anything other than a patch there. This might need a bit more. That's like the XW was. XW is sort of more in this area here though. I'm also going to take off that brace. You can see people always bang on about tidy welds. That's a weld that's 50 something years old and it's still there. Penetration's what it's about, not so much the presentation. No, this is good. I'm really enjoying it because it's easy to fix. That's easy to fix. My only worry, I'll tell you now, let's put that back for now. Do I need more this way? Because the other side's got a lot more. This one hasn't. In saying that, I can get away with this. The guard covers it. You'll never see it. As much as I want to for now, you can see there's rust inside the plenum. This is how it sits. We took that bit off. We took that bit of frame off from the side. If we lift this bit off, which we did before, that's the most damage. And I think there's a company that makes these. If it doesn't, we can patch it, but I'd sooner, I think, buy one because there's a lot of complex curves there. This isn't bad. It's not as bad as it looks. I haven't cleaned it up. It's got some masticky stuff there. It needs a new hat, and that's a dead easy piece to make, that. And after that, that's still got a lot of thickness to it, that piece there. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, what I've got to do... that's like a fabric tape, like a duct tape. What I've got to do is I've got to take the XA apart. This is XC. I'm going to take the XA apart and just see exactly what I need. So I've been careful. That's all brazing from the factory. That's not part of that. Hang on a second. That's part of the inside there, but we can join it. I'd be inclined to join it across here. We'll have a look at the other one. We'll pull that apart, but it's time consuming, but it looks like it's not going to be too difficult to do. Oh, you didn't think I was going to leave it there, did you? This bit I've taken off. That's... Whoops. That was the guy next door. That's the kick trim. Well, where the kick trim goes. Big hole. Now, the pillar itself's in good nick. Now, a couple of things. It's gone there. But not, well, it's gone through just in that spot there. I don't think it's any problem to put a patch there, across there. Plug weld it, 1, 2, 3. Big seam weld right across there. I don't think that's a problem at all. The rest of this pillar section is very, very good. Because I reckon our sedan is gone up there. And this one isn't. Now, this is a lot more complicated than the XW was because... Can I stand up? No. Because... The XW, I could get away with 2 patches. I cut the top away, and then there was a small rust hole at the bottom, cut that away, put a patch in there, and then I think it was 2 patches on top. Yeah? Not a problem. This XA, this sedan, and I looking at it like that, I think the wagon would be the same as what the XW was. The sedan, though, I mean, my brother is doing the driveline, and he's nuts. So... you know, he's not going to be happy with the bread and butter 351. It's going to be something a lot more powerful. So we have to make sure the structure's sound. And there's multiple layers here. And I think what we need to do, 1, is do it absolutely properly. And 2, I was going to unstitch that. There's a piece there. There's a piece here. And then there's that bit there. That piece on top Gosh. Yeah, look, it's got... Is that a separate piece there? Yeah, that's a separate piece there. Then you've got this, which goes over the top of the big structured bit here, which is where the door hinge is. So we have to make sure that it's absolutely perfect, because I'm not going to be happy unless it is. And I'm going to leave it at that for this, because I need to go and have a look at the car. I need to brace it and start cutting away metal at the top so I know exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, quite interesting actually. I've learned something today. I've learned a lot. Got a few hydroblasted XA goodies. These are, that's off the wagon, and it's flawless. Had a couple of little liquid rusty marks where the pressings were, those little ribs from the pressings. But this I didn't intend to buy. This is $114, brand new, and got the baffle. The rule of thumb is 351s had a baffle and 302s didn't. But there are always exceptions. It's the scuttle panel, what do you call it, the wiper cover thing, and the battery tray. I mean, put some headlight bits in there, and I don't think I've got enough edge, so I'm just going to blow a bit of edge around so I can pack them away for a rainy day. I've got a dirty bit of grease left on there. I just prefer to buy, like, people are peddling old subs and they want like $80 from them. They're all bashed in, you know. I don't care if something's repro as long as it fits. I haven't cleaned this very well. Right, I've got to sort through here. They're XA wagon parts. Fairlane, how spiff is it looking? Look, sticker, and another sticker there. The Fairlanes had the original type, the electronic ignition one was over there. I'm going to put it where the XD had on the, what do you call it? Radiator shroud there. I do have to take these hydraulic lines off the steering box because there's a bit of end float in the sector shaft which I'm not happy with. I thought I set it up properly and I didn't, so I've got to take that off. And I think the next thing is, I've ordered some parts, I've got discs and all that sort of stuff. Still not wrapped to these lower ball joints, so I might actually take those lower arms out, break out the ball joints and just stick another set in, just so they swivel because they're too stiff, they shouldn't be stiff. And I might pop the box, the, what do you call it, the steering column in. I've just got to have a look behind here, because I've got an awful lot of plugs that are sitting there idle, and I don't know why. That makes sense. So, I think, yeah, a male and a female connector like that gets used up on the column, so does that one. But there's that red one. This could be windows and seats, I'm not sure. I don't know what that does. I can't see where it goes, and I can't see behind here, so I'm just going to get a mirror. That's all plugged up there. The rear loom's plugged in, but I can't remember. People say I've got a good memory for this stuff, and I haven't. It's going to be easier leaving the column out, you know, to put the things like the accelerator cable in. I haven't ordered that yet, but I want to put the column in because I want to feel the box, the drag on it, if you know what I mean. Handbrake thing is in. That's all kosher. There's just those two fasteners on the coupling, and I've got the other bit that goes around there, and just a couple of things here that the column hangs on. I thought it hung on 3, but it only hangs on 2. These two blokes, so I can feed that in. Just going to get a mirror and have a look behind it, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Look at this for a tricky little bugger. Hang on a minute. Let's turn that around. Tricky little bugger. Look at that red plug up there. I looked at that and I thought there's no way that's going to be left empty. Normally when there's plugs empty, it's ones like this. Not these ones. So that could be... I don't know. I've got to keep looking. I'm not... Come back. Where are you? I'm not really sure what that one was. Terrible lighting, and you're not going to be able to see much because it'll just be the back of my head, which is never a great view. I've got to get this. I've got the keys in, so the lock's not on. There's a small hole and a big one. The small one is at the top. Put it there. But I can't see because it's got a bellow things in the way. It's my birthday, Sunday the 15th, and I went to see Mum, and saw my brother and sister, and now I'm home, going out for dinner tonight, and I've got two hands occupied and the door to open, so I'm not really sure I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do some work in the garage, and now we're in. So, got a few things to do. I've got to sort this steering slack out in the Fairlane, which I've been annoyed about. I mucked around with it and there's too much slack, but I didn't have it before, but I thought it was binding, and I'm not totally at ease about it. But we do have to, watch this, ready? We have to do these. So I've got these calipers from Addison. Addison donated a couple of power steering box pumps. That comes out. And I'll get them hydroblasted. So I'll pop the pistons out of those two, and also the two original ones, which are also PBR for the Fairlane. I'll get them done at the same time, rebuild all four. Now I'm not sure particularly what the XA has in terms of calipers at the front. They could even be Kelsey's. The XW's got Kelsey Hayes as well. They didn't look like that, but having said that, I didn't really look at them too carefully at all. Right, we have 7 351 con rods. I need one. I need 8. Does anyone have a spare one? Alright, let's make a start. Right, we've got a series of brake calipers here. Fairlane, Addison, and that's out of the Outback XA. No, they're Addison's, because this one is Fairlane and there's no nipple in it. Sorry, I lied. Oh, here. Whoop, there it is. Always gives me a fright. Take that out and we'll just go gingerly, and we're good. That's one out. And this will tell you what sort of state the piston's in. They're clearly neglected hydraulics, which is why I always tend to replace these anyway. Bit of Scotch-Brite will divulge a lot of things. Quite often there's pitting and rust. These are about 80 bucks a pair, so I've got no bones with replacing it. But we've got one out, and in the base of that is just loads of sludge. So that's one. Let's try the, oh, that one will probably have to have the nipple taken out again. Take the slides apart and get them all cleaned up. For one of the other cars, I think it was the XC, I had them sitting in vinegar for a week and then hosed them off, and they were lovely. So that's another way you can clean them up. Can you see it? Yep. Good to go. Might be easier to take this bit off first. This outer pad off. It's still roadworthy. And we're good. Another one bites the dust, as they say. Same sort of thing. We've also got to take that seal out inside. But they might clean up. We'll clean up, we'll have a look. I've got this one out. Just from I leave it on it with the thing. I've left some of my tools up at the other place, like my CRC and that sort of thing. That's got lots of crap in there. So I've got to pull these apart. There's another piston, which we'll have a good close look at. Let's try this. The compressor's just finished. Oh, here we go. Damn. It wants to come. There we go. There we go. She dry. All right. Now I've sort of stolen a bit of time, and the reason for that is because I had a window of time where I could go to the hydroblast and drop stuff off. So the other 4 calipers that I pulled apart are all the hydroblasters, and there's 2 different types. There's small pin, like this, and the slide is a sleeve that sits over the pin, and the later type, which is blind here. And the whole pin is the size of the sleeve on these ones. It's a big wide thing. Now the problem I've had with the other one is they're seized. And so I literally just cut one out. You get new slides for them and so forth. But as far as I know, that's the only difference between late ones. Now, I don't know when they came in. That could have been XC, XD, XE, or it could have been an XF, of course. It could have been XD, EF. No idea, because my XC, when I bought it, was just a body shell, so I ended up gathering the parts to build the car. Oops, sorry about that. Now the pads should just be 1045s, and Falcons have used them forever. These things here, they're the old ones. I've got a set here, and they should be the same. If I can get the blasted lid off. Here we go. And they're a soft compound. A lot of people use a Metal King in them, or they used to use Metal Kings. Metal Kings would fade less. They're a metal compound, but the pedal was harder. This is a sort of a generic compound, so it's got a bit of metal in it, a bit of normal friction material, but they look exactly like, I would imagine, the old ones. Look. See, inner one has that spring. The outer one grabs onto the outside of the caliper with that. So we know we're good for pads. The other thing I ordered was the caliper overhaul kits, which are merely a dust cap, a dust seal, sorry, a square cut piston seal, and a grease nipple, or sorry, a bleeder nipple sleeve. And I'll go into how to fit these. I've done them on other videos, and I would think most people would know. Now, I haven't got the kits, the other O-rings for the caliper slides, because I'm going to get new caliper slides for it. Sorry, I hit you again. So they can go later. We do have to look at pistons though, and there are subtle differences with the pistons, which I actually wasn't aware of when we examined these. This is an old one out of the XC, and I think I only kept it as a size reference. No, that looks actually pretty good. Maybe I could reuse this. I don't even know. No, there's actually nothing wrong with that. Oh, cool. That's why I kept it. I kept it because there's nothing wrong with it. But some of the shoulders are a different size. So, this is a very dirty rag. We're not going to clean bits and pieces with this and then put them back in. But it will give me an idea of what I'm working with. So, we can clean it up and just have a bit of a look. Now, if there's pitting in there, it's no good, because obviously it has to create a seal, and any marks or pits like those ones means the piston is no good. This one I stopped cleaning because it's got a nick in it, and set the calipers up on that. That's got the deep bit at the top, right? This one, exactly the same diameter. You should use a vernier or a micrometer. You shouldn't use that because of scratches, but Yeah, just don't do that. This one here, this is also good. Same diameter. Oh, hang on, there's a couple of marks there, just a sec. Yeah, they'll come out. And this one here's got a lot of shiny marks around it. So I'm going to call that stuffed. That's got a thinner collar at the top. So of all of them, I've come up with a pair of good ones. This is dirty, but it's okay. You know, it's got good sheen on it. It's not got any nicks out of it or shiny spots in it. That one, to my way of thinking, is really good. That one is really good. He's just verified they're the same height, because I know the diameter's the same. They've got the same collar at the top. And I should use a proper instrument, don't do this. They are exactly the same height. So I'll use those in the wagon. Or the Fairlane, it doesn't really matter. Might use them in the Fairlane. And we'll just buy one more set. I have to buy two sets. Got to buy one for the wagon, one for the sedan. But the sedan one, there's a lot of body work to do first. These little guys scare me. Front springs. These are King springs. I've got them in the XW, although I did get the wrong ones. There's a KFL2s, KFL2, which is 30mm in each or so lower for a V8 Falcon or Fairlane. The ones specified for XW V8s are actually the 6-cylinder springs because they've got winches in them. So I made a mistake in buying those. I need a set of these for the XW as well. So I'm going to fit this in that hole. So what we need to do, actually I've got to first secure that brake line. I might put that on first. And the little pad things up there. So I think we'll put this on, and I was going to say something else and I can't remember what it was, but oh, I've got to fill that up too. Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't got the these. I was worried about how stiff they were. They're a little bit stiff, these tie rod ends. They don't feel right. I have got, oh sorry, not tie rod ends, ball joints, the lower one. I've already got a, I filled them up with grease. I don't know why. I might actually have to give that a wipe for a start, but I might change those. Doesn't matter, I can fit these springs and make headway that way. This is disconnected because there's a little bit of slack in here. Not good enough. And I don't think that was there before. I think that was since I mucked around with it. But I'm not happy. I need to fix that. Otherwise I'm going to be probably taking the box out again. If it comes to that, I won't film it. I'll just do it off camera so there's minimal boredom for everybody involved. But that is not cool. I'm using the wrong tool. This is a lot easier. The spring spacing is a lot further apart than what the original 6-cylinder springs were. These bits here, obviously, holes in lower and higher spot. That way you can get them right. Hang on. Is that the lower bit there? Yes, it is. So the other one I had to sort of pull apart and muscle around with it and that sort of thing, where this one is far easier and shouldn't be quite as problematic. Although the tool that Byron was using was just screwed in from the top and you swung the spring out off the top plate, which is much better, but I haven't got one of those. I think he got it from the suspension place, I'm not sure. This is not even good for this, but it does work. So putting the springs in isn't nearly as much of a pain in the neck to what removing them is. Modification there. I've cut a little bit off the length and just bent it around, because the distance between the hole and the little locating hole for that tab is shorter. I always tape these up before I cut anything because I don't want anything in there. Same with the bottom. That won't come off until I'm ready to fit the calipers. So, is my arm in the way? Yeah, probably. What's that in this one? Yeah, just a sec. I haven't done the best job of this. I've made this line here too long. I don't know if it's secured before, but I'm going to secure it this time. I'll get a tab and just to hold that still. I think it should be secured at least one at one point between the master and where the rubber line joins. Oh, they're 3/8, I got the wrong spanner. Okay. I should have put this on before and I didn't. The other thing is I've got to look for my flare nut spanner, so I'm not going to tighten this fully, oopsie, because I am going to move some things around. But I did forget on the clutch, on the Starley when I did that, I did forget to nip it up after. Fluid shot out and affected the paint under the bonnet at the back. So I'm not happy with that, so that does need to be secured. I'm not going to drill anywhere around here. That's double skinned where the steering box is, but I will use a loop there just to hold that against there in some fashion or another. But we can go ahead and compress the spring now, I think. Now, I don't particularly like using a rattle gun with these sorts of things, but I'm only going to go that far, and the rest I'll do by hand. This is performance tool, so I wouldn't look at that as being an industrial quality tool. The other thing is I'm tying it up with the ends out this way, so if it lets go, hopefully I don't get hit with shrapnel. PPE might be an idea. I'm very happy with the way the XW handles and with these king springs, but I might give those to Jason for his upcoming project, and I will change them out for a set the same as this. Now if you find yourself doing one of these, it's worth getting, literally spending a few extra dollars to get spring saddles that are going to move. Now these aren't the ones my brother uses, he uses ones with an actual bearing in them. I use these ones, they're Northane or whatever you call them. The standard rubber ones, awful. They're very bad because you can't move them. So hopefully, maybe I haven't done it enough. Hang on a sec. I can't see what I'm doing. Here we go. Okay. And maybe I can just move it up like that. No, I've gone too far. Let's bring it back a little bit. Put it on there and then put that to the stop, which is there. Wonderful. Oh, I have compressed it quite a long way. This is actually really interesting. The reason I changed them, you see all those cracks all down the side? That's brush paint, because when you get a little Scotch-Brite disc on your Dremel or whatever it is you're using, they come up beautifully. I mean, there's some scuff marks there, but there's no cracks. So that's something to be aware of. The other thing is I'm using up as much of my horrible plating, which is this Turkish Delight wrapper plating I got from the company. I've found another plater, and I will give details of his work. I sent some stuff in last week. He said it'd be ready, and oddly enough he didn't want it wired up. I always wire everything up in hydroblasted. He likes hydroblasted stuff, but he doesn't want you to wire it up. He's got somebody to do that. I might have mentioned this in the intro, I can't remember, and he was quite adamant about that. There we go. So when I sussed his work out, I saw some stuff he'd done there and it looked fantastic. It looked like Warner's, it looked really good, but I was never ever happy with this other mob, and I'll gladly not use them again because their work was half as good as Warner's and twice the price. So we've got that done. We can just stick these on. These are the original type that the Fairlane came with. On the right side. Oh, I cleaned the wrong side. I'll have to do something about that. Perfect. I mean, it does smell like someone's just done a burnout here, but let me just take that off. Oh, it stings. Yeah, so it doesn't look cracked anymore. There's still a bit of residue there, but I don't think that matters much. We've got them all nice and tight. That all looks pretty good. And from the other side, you know, I mean, it looks better than it did, but That's just quite plainly the wrong colour. Anyway, that's what we've got, so we're good. Front shocks, I picked these because they were the cheapest. And I like the colour. Well, that last bit's kind of a lie, but they were the cheap ones. They do look pretty spiff though, but these sorts of things you should buy the best quality. This car is not going to get much use, so I went this way, which is, as I said, wrong. I've never seen this arrangement. I don't know what that is, so I'll just take this off. Actually, we don't need to. Oh yes, we will. We'll take it off. There's the bush. Why has it got that thing? Who knows? So, doesn't matter. Let's just lower it into place, huh? Did you see what I was talking about, or did I not have the camera in the right spot? Probably didn't have it in the right spot. Anyway, let's go down here and get them through the holes at the bottom, and hunky-dory. Right, well that's all good. We'll just go upstairs and put the top bit on, and we're done with this side. Alright. Actually, before I forget, I'll just put these in. This is more clown plating, which I don't like. I can tighten this down with a spanner when I snug the rest down. But it's looking more like a car. I might tighten them later because I want the car to be sitting on the ground before I tighten up all the suspension. Well, I think it looks fairly nice. All finished on that side. Just that pesky steering slack. I'm going to put that back together. That's for heater pipes. I think the XD's got something like that there. Both hats are on. Both front springs are in. Both shocks are in. It's all looking pretty hunky-dory. But yeah, it's looking fairly good. I'm happy with it. So, on that note, I'm going to call it quits for this one. Take good care of yourselves. Enjoy a classic. And I'll see you soon.